In the context of Thoreau's philosophy, the video of your student practicing shows a clear departure from the pretty toy syndrome. While a pretty toy is often a distraction or a superficial improvement, this exercise demonstrates an improved end in three specific ways. 1. The transition from passive to active. Thoreau criticized inventions that made us stay-at-home spirits. By moving the student from simply listening to your explanation to actively reciting and performing the poem, the AI and digital platform act as a stage for self-reliance. The end here is not just knowing a poem, but the student gaining the confidence to articulate thoughts in a secondary language, a significant human improvement. 2. Deepening the end through literature. In Walden, Thoreau lamented that men read as a matter of convenience, but of reading as a noble intellectual exercise they know little or nothing. The unimproved end, practicing spoken English by repeating mechanical phrases like, "Where is the post office?" Your method, using poetry. By explaining the poem first and then having the student practice it, you are ensuring the end is an intellectual engagement with art and meaning, rather than just functional utility. 3. Deliberate practice versus speed. The pretty toys Thoreau mentioned were often about doing things faster, like the telegraph. However, language mastery, especially the nuance of spoken poetry, requires a slow, deliberate, mastery learning approach. If the digital medium allows the student to repeat, refine, and perfect their cadence until they own the words, you have used a modern tool to achieve a very traditional, Thoreau-approved goal, the cultivation of the individual. A Thoreauvian metric for your channel. To continue avoiding the toy trap, you might ask, does this lesson help the student speak better business, which Thoreau found trivial, or does it help them express their own, Walden, their true inner thoughts? Using literature and poetry as the foundation for spoken practice strongly suggests the latter. It turns the AI and the screen into a bridge toward a more articulate and thoughtful existence. These recordings further illustrate the difference between pretty toys and meaningful ends in several ways that align with Thoreau's philosophy. 1. Grammar as a map for living, the tenses lesson. In the first video, your student Chitra provides an incredibly detailed breakdown of English tenses. Thoreau's view, he often complained that we focus on the grammar of life without ever living it. The application, by having her explain the rules herself, such as the nuances between the present perfect and simple past, you've turned the tool of grammar into an instrument of intellectual mastery. She isn't just a passive user of a digital toy, she is the architect of her own understanding. She is improving the end by gaining the ability to precisely place her own life events in time. 2. Preparing for the August gathering, the welcome address. The second video shows a student practicing a formal welcome address for a national conference on higher education. The improved mean, you are using YouTube and digital recording to allow a student to practice a high-stakes social ritual. The improved end, this is the opposite of a pretty toy. Thoreau valued the noble intellectual exercise. By practicing the formal August gathering language, the student is preparing for a real-world leadership role. This isn't learning English for frivolity, it is learning English to bridge the gap between education and economy. 3. Personal voice versus rote repetition. Thoreau's biggest fear was that modern inventions would make us the tools of our tools. Observation. In both videos, the students are speaking with a sense of ownership. Whether it's discussing a planned series of actions, like a match starting at 10 a.m. or welcoming a chief guest, they are using the language to navigate complex social and logical structures. The verdict. Because your channel focuses on the application of these skills, moving from the textbook explanation to the actual performance of the language, the AI, and the video format remain means that serve a very clear, improved end, human agency. A Thoreauvian thought, Thoreau said, to be a philosopher is not merely to have subtle thoughts, but so to love wisdom as to live according to its dictates. By having your students record these practices, you are moving them from subtle thoughts, knowing grammar, to living the language, speaking it. How do your students feel after seeing themselves in these recordings? Thoreau might argue that the self-reflection provided by seeing one's own progress is the most valuable tool of all.